So my name is Hanan and I am an author and I've written, as Lemi said, this book, Between Baghdad and the World. It's about my mum's life actually and her struggle of living in Iraq and then coming to the UK. So I think it's very relevant. I think everyone has parents, grandparents that have the same stories. So as Lemi said, I'm also a student as well as being a writer. I study pharmacy at university, which is all to do with medicines and very science-based, very different to English and writing. So as well as writing, I do a lot of other writing books. I do a lot of other writing. I write for magazines. I write for news organizations. I write for social media accounts. So I don't just write books, and I'm not just an author. I do lots of different things. So just as like what writing is as a career, it's very different to being a dentist or a doctor, where you kind of wake up and you go to work and you have things to do and you have a boss that's telling you this is what you do and these are your tasks. As being a writer, it's kind of like being your own boss, and you have to organize your time, you have to manage your time, and it's kind of slow and it's difficult because you don't always get work and you have to find people to write for, or you have to find projects to do. So it's a bit difficult, but it's fun. And if you enjoy it and if you love writing, it's just a great career to have and to stick with. So just as like what writing is as a daily life, obviously the most part of the day is writing. You're going to spend hours and hours and hours writing, reading your writing, editing it, going back, asking for people's opinions. A lot of people are not going to like your writing and they're going to say, change this, change that. You're just going to have to like stick it out and keep going. You're also going to have to read a lot of things that are related to your topic. So, for example, if I'm writing about Iraq, I have to read books about Iraq. I have to read news articles. I have to read research papers just to understand more about what my topic is. So a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of talking to people. You have to talk to designers, editors, people that you're writing for. You have to reply to lots of emails. You have to kind of, get to know people, network. So it is a lot of obviously writing, but you do have a lot of things. And the nice things are you also get to kind of get invited to events, conferences, get to have a lot of free foods and free snacks. So that's the perks of it. And obviously you get your name, you get a bit of recognition, people know you, people want to talk to you, people want to offer you opportunities. So it is a really great career to be in. And just because it's not a straightforward career, like a doctor, you kind of just go to university, you study medicine. With writing, you don't have to study English at university, you don't have to study English at A-levels. I didn't do English at A-levels. I did biology, chemistry, psychology, so all sciences, and I'm studying pharmacy, which is a science degree at university as well. So I've never done anything English orientated, but there are a lot of things that you can do from the age that you guys are now and some of the things that I did. So when I was young, I really loved to read. I loved to read a lot of books, and I would go to the local library that's near us. I would go to in school in the library. I'd borrow a lot of books, and I would encourage you all to read, even if you don't want to be writers, because reading helps to improve a lot of your skills, and especially if you want to be a writer, it improves your writing a lot. And my teachers at school at English lessons, I really loved English lessons. I was very good at them. So when you take an interest in those lessons, your teacher starts taking interest in you. So they would kind of tell me about writing competitions, and I would enter a lot and sometimes win, sometimes not, sometimes get my writing published in like short books. And these are things I was doing when I was like 12, 13, so very young. And then obviously I got a bit older. When I was in year 11, I started an online blog, which is a website where you can write whatever you want and people from all around the world can read it. So I wrote about things that were going on in the news, and I gained a lot of like practice, and I got a lot better at writing, because the writing, the more you write, the better you get, and you can't really teach writing. It's just you have to keep practicing and you'll learn and you pick it up. And then obviously I got older, I met more people, I had lots of opportunities, and then eventually I got to write a book. And it took 2 years, I think, one of the questions I just saw, and it's not a very long book. It's about 240, 50 pages, but it took 2 years just to write this book. So it's a lot of hard work, but it's really great. And seeing a book now with your name on it, it's really great. So like I said, it's not a typical career. I can't just tell you go and study English at university, but I can give you some tips if you are interested. Just a repeat of what I did as a child. So definitely read a lot of books. Ask your parents and your teachers about writing competitions, because they really help. You get to meet a lot of people and you get a lot of opportunities, and obviously you get your writing published in like short books or online. And also just write in your spare time. Even if I used to write lots of stories in notebooks and no one ever read them, and they're just kind of packed up in boxes somewhere. But the more you write, the better you get, and practice makes perfect. And speak to your English teachers in particular. They can give you advice on how to improve your writing. And the main thing is just to get your name out there, to make yourself a bit known. If you do lots of different things, lots of different writing projects, eventually you'll get a lot more opportunities and you'll get a lot better. And the main thing that I just wanted to say is don't limit yourselves to one thing, is that you can be a writer and you can do so many other things at the same time. So I'm studying pharmacy. Hopefully I'm going to work as a pharmacist, but I'm also a writer and hopefully I can write more books. You can be a doctor and a writer. You can be a chef and a writer. You can be a pilot and a writer. You can literally do anything, because life is great and it's full of lots of exciting opportunities. So don't stress it and don't feel like you have to make decisions now about the one thing you want to do in your life. Honestly, you can do lots of different things. So I hope that sheds a bit of light on writing as a career.
So how did you reach out to find different publishers?
So it depends on what you're writing. So I wanted to write a book about Iraq, and you have to find publishers that do that, because obviously different publishers write about different things. So you go online, you search publishers, and they all have on their websites a page about submissions. So they'll tell you, email us, write about what your book is in 200 words, what your proposed summary, write, send us like a sample chapter. So that's how you find publishers. You can also get an agent. You have to pay them and they kind of charge a lot. So if you are willing to do the hard work yourself and actually find publishers yourself, you kind of just take to the internet. And the internet is great, it has everything, and you'll find publishers on there.
Lovely. Someone said, what about journaling? Maybe she's asking if that helps with writing career.
Anything that you feel will help, any type of writing, even if it's like making little notes or anything. It's about you putting pen to paper, or now we all type online on our laptops. So anything, if you feel like journaling will help, honestly, try different things. I wrote a lot of different things. I wrote short stories, I wrote poetry, I did a bit of like journalism, a tiny bit. I wrote for news organizations, I wrote articles, and then eventually I wrote a book. So any type of writing, you have to kind of try everything to find what you love the most. So definitely, if that helps, I would recommend you go with that.
Lovely. Someone said, what inspired you to start writing?
I think it's the same question when you asked, I think, Philip earlier, what inspired you to be a chef? It's kind of something that you pick up when you're young, and there's always one thing that you love when you're younger. So I loved reading. My family loves reading a lot. We have a library in our house. So I kind of grew up around that, and I love to write, to express my opinions, to kind of, get ideas across, and writing was the way of doing that. So I just love to kind of go down that route. I love to read and to write, and they're kind of interlinked. So that's what inspired me to get into it.
That's great.
So can I just add something about publishing, Hanan? My nephew, he lives in Germany, and what he's doing, he made an arrangement with Amazon. He translate the Arabic books about Ahl al-Bayt, the Imams and that, their short stories and biography, and he translated into German language, to Dutch language. And he actually managed really well. He done about 32 books.
Wow.
And he's just about 31 now. And the way he does it is really clever because he doesn't have to pay anything. So he sends them the text to Amazon. Amazon print you as on demand, yeah? But people order it online. So they print it and they give him royalties, part of the things. And I think it's brilliant because he was doing it not about the money, he's doing it about spreading the stories of Ahlul Bayt and the Imams in the local languages. It's fantastic. It's a different way of going into publishing and that.
Yeah, that's self-publishing. And Amazon has it for anyone. If you want to write a book, not just translate, you can self-publish your own book, and you don't really pay anything in the beginning, and they print your book every time it's ordered, and they'll pay you, they'll take a share of it, of the money, and they'll pay you. So that's something that's really good if you don't find publishers. For me, I've actually started a publishing house called Nahrain Books with some of my good friends. So we're publishing not just about Iraq, but we're publishing about the Eastern world and politics, history, culture, lots of different things. And we want to give priority to Eastern voices. So people like us from the Eastern world who don't really get that much opportunity here. So if anyone is interested, you're more than welcome to get in touch with us, and you know, we can do something, inshallah.
We'll definitely share that on our networks as well, because that's very lovely and important for the community, I think. There's another question here. This is a nice one. What was your favorite author as a child?
Let me remember. I think
Yes.
I love Jacqueline Wilson.
Yeah.
I remember reading all of those books all the time. There was a few books. Jacqueline Wilson, I just remember reading a lot of her books because it was something that was for my age, and everyone at the time was reading her books. I remember there were fairy stories.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know them. It was like different fairies.
Yeah, you know them. Do you know people who love, because I used to love reading. So when you love reading, you'll read anything.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
It's just being
Definitely.
and it helps with your English as you grow up as well.
100%.
Like writing and essays and things. In any career, reading helps and writing helps.
100%. That's why I would encourage it, because it's not just about writing. It's about when you read something, you can scan it quickly, you can read quickly, you can pick out extracts, and those are skills that you need in any type of job, in any type of career. So I'd recommend you guys all read regularly.
Oh, two more questions before we move on. Which one do you prefer, non-fiction or fiction?
Non-fiction. I actually only read non-fiction, but somehow I wrote a fiction book, which is so weird. But all the things that I write about generally, like even now, articles, they're all about history, politics, culture. So definitely non-fiction, but I don't know why I wrote a fiction book, but there you go.
Mix of both. And what was your favorite genre? Kind of the same question with the non-fiction.
History.
Oh,
I loved history. I love learning about like different cultures. Even Iraq, like I love learning about, reading about, you know, what was happening in Iraq like 200 years ago. You know, it was great to kind of, when you read a book, it's like you're in another world. So when you read those types of books about history, I feel like I'm living like 1,000 years before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Hanan, for your time today.
My pleasure.
To have you involved in this, and it's just fantastic. And I did put the link to your website, but I will share it on our networks as well.
Thank you.